want to make sure that your basic understanding of multiplication in algebra, that you're happy with it. Just the very, very basics. So if you were to multiply a number by itself, so if you were to multiply 5 by 5, then we know that that's 25. But that's when we know the numbers. Is there a simpler way of writing 5 multiplied by 5? Yeah, we could write it as 5 squared. Now, we rarely do. It's just an option. It's, you know, as mathematicians, we get lazy and we try and find a faster way of writing or saying something. So I could say, obviously, 5 by 5 is 25. That's where I want to get to. That's it in its simplest form. But that's only because I know I have a 5 by a 5. Like if I had a 7 by a 7, that's 49. Is there another way of saying 7 by 7? Yeah, it's the same as 7 squared. Will we usually write it like this? No, we don't, because we know 7 by 7 is 49. But if you have an unknown number and you multiply it by itself, well, we don't know if that's 10 by 10, 40 by 40. We don't know what it is. So the best we can say is x squared. Okay, it's not ideal. It's not as ideal as this or this, but it's the best we can do in the situation. And that's what we're always trying to do do in algebra. We're trying to do our best and write it as simple as possible. So if you ever see an x multiplied by an x, or another unknown number, a y multiplied by a y, then that's a y squared. You would have done some multiplication in primary school. So I'm going to leave that a little bit now and I'm just going to talk about it. In primary school, if I asked you to multiply 14 by 21 maybe, you would normally do it like this. 1 by 4, 4, etc, etc. Put down your 0, 2 by 4, 8, etc. And then you'd have your final line. But that's only because that's the method that we use in Ireland. There's plenty of other methods around the world. If you were in a different country, we would have split the 14 up into a 10 plus a 4. And we would have split the 21 up into a 20 plus a 1. And we would have tried to get the area of all 4 parts of this. And the great thing is that they're nice numbers. So 10 by 20, 200. Again, they're easy to type into the calculator as well. 20 by 4 is 80. 10 by 1 is 10. And 4 by 1 is 4. So we end up multiplying everything to find the area of each rectangle. And then what I can do is I can add that and that. That's 280, 290, 294. So you should have gotten 294 by doing it out this way. But this is just one method and this is another method. So the reason that other countries might use this method is because it's the method that we'd use in algebra all the time. Like let's say I said, right, I have a missing number and I add 4. I want to multiply that by 10. I want to multiply this whole number here, the missing number plus 4, whatever that is, I want to multiply it by a 10. So, we have something and another bit. We can split it up into a box where along the top here we have this and this. It happens to be an x in this situation, it happens to be a 4. Up here, it happened to be a 10 and a 4 because I had 14. Over here it happened to be a 20 and a 1. And down here it just happens to be an x and a 4 and we want to multiply by 10. 10 is a nice number. I don't need to split up 10 into 5 and 5 or anything like that. So what happens when you multiply 10 by x? Well, what happens when you multiply 10 by any number? You end up with 10 times that number. And what happens when you multiply 10 by 4? You end up with 10 times that number, which we can actually work out to be 40. So if you multiply these two things, you end up with 10x plus 40. Are you able to add things in algebra that are different? No, you're not. So that's as far as we can get.